Breaking tonight, President Trump's predecessor is now threatening to step into action if President Trump ends the DACA program tomorrow. He is expected to not renew the Obama-era program that protects hundreds of thousands of young immigrants brought into the country illegally as children. But there's a catch. Fox's Rich Edson with the details tonight from Washington.
Good evening, Martha. President Trump has called it one of the most difficult subjects before him, whether to continue deferred action for childhood arrivals, or DACA. Sources familiar with the decision tell Fox News the president is expected to announce tomorrow his administration is ending DACA. They stress nothing is finalized, as a White House source says the president has spoken today with various stakeholders on the issue, though the president is expected to phase out the program in 6 months, giving Congress until then to arrive at a legislative replacement. The Obama administration implemented DACA in 2012, protecting from deportation those brought to the U.S. younger than 16, living in the country for at least 5 years, and with clean criminal records. Citing a person close to the former president, Politico reports President Obama will publicly address President Trump's decision, posting a response on Facebook and a link on Twitter. This as lawmakers across Congress weigh in. Some Republicans, like Congressman Steve King, oppose DACA, claiming it encourages others to bring their children to the U.S. illegally. He tweeted, quote, "Ending DACA now gives chance to restore rule of law. Delaying so our leadership can push amnesty is Republican suicide." House Speaker Paul Ryan says he opposed President Obama's creation of DACA as unconstitutional, though he is against President Trump ending it without Congress devising a solution. Other Republicans agree. In a statement, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham writes, quote, "I have always believed DACA was a presidential overreach. However, I equally understand the plight of the DREAM Act kids who, for all practical purposes, know no country other than America." Democrats say they are ready to extend the program if Republicans agree. Martha?
Thanks to Rich Edson. So here now with more, Katrina Pierson, spokesperson for America First Policies. She also served as spokesperson for the Trump campaign. And Richard Fowler, nationally syndicated radio talk show host and a Fox News contributor. Welcome to both of you. Thanks for being here on this Labor Day evening. Katrina, I struggle with the soundbite that we played earlier on our way into the break. The president has clearly, sort of said at times that he's going to protect the Dreamers, and at other times said, they have to go. So how has he arrived at his decision here? And, how does he reconcile those two positions?
Well, technically, we don't know his decision at this point, but as it's being discussed, it's exactly what he said on the campaign trail. If you are in this country illegally, the laws should be enforced, and ultimately that means deportation if you do not do things the correct way. However, he also made a caveat later on in the campaign, specifically with his immigration policy, that he would not prioritize these individuals. I'd like to make one distinction here. We keep talking about this as these are some children. These are adults in their 20s and 30s who are knowingly and willingly in this country. And I understand they were brought here by no fault of their own, but having an American person that's in their 20s and 30s break the law, what law enforcement agency is going to say, well, it's just not going to happen.
Katrina is 22 years old, and they were brought here in most cases. And you heard what Lindsey Graham said in that statement that we put. Most of them have never known any other country in their whole lives. But, President Trump on many occasions has said, I love kids, and these kids are so special. He had, times when he spoke with children of immigrants at the White House on one occasion. He said, I have a lot of sympathy for them. So what happened to that is the question.
Well, he's also met with families who've been impacted by some of these children who weren't here doing good things. And so it goes both ways, which is exactly
criminal
why,
behavior is different. But
that's exactly why I'm saying that it's not about who's good or who's bad here. This is about the law. DACA was rejected in the courts, and DACA would be too. He has to do what's right for American citizens, period.
All right. Richard, what do you think?
Well, a couple of clarity about DACA. So to register for DACA, you have to be here before the age of 15. You have to live here for 5 years, and you cannot commit any crimes. The moment you commit a crime, you are no longer eligible for DACA.
A second crime, Richard, you have to clarify, because a lot of people are watching this. They're saying, well, they already broke the law. They've already committed a crime.
So
but you're talking about another crime after they were here.
Committing a crime while they're here. Additionally, 91% of DACA students are working in this country. 100% of them had to either be working in the military or attending school here. So these are productive members of our society. They know no other country. They pledge allegiance to our flag. They play on our kids' softball teams, hockey teams, football teams, and all they want to do is achieve the American dream. And this president is putting not a stumbling block, Martha, a big wall in the way of them achieving the American dream. It's sort of sad that we've come to this point. And the fact that he's relying on Congress to get this done is even more sad. And here's why. Because he depended on Congress to get Obamacare repealed, and they couldn't do that. So in what world does he think in the next 6 months Congress is going to pass some sort of dream act when they couldn't do it under Barack Obama
30
or
seconds,
George
Katrina.
Bush?
Go ahead.
If Democrats were serious about doing anything for illegal aliens in this country, they should have done it
have been the problem.
while Obama had every branch of government. He didn't, because
we tried, and Republicans filibustered it in the lame duck.
That Congress needs to do. This is not a presidential act, which is exactly why Obama was defeated with DACA. The same thing is going to happen here, and you can't brush all of these people with a broad stroke, saying they're all doing these things.
No, I'm only talking about the 800,000 DACA students.
You know what? There's a lot that has to be determined here. When you talk about people who have served, hold on, guys, we got to go. People who've served the country will likely be in a different category, but there has to be some stipulations made along the way, and that's what we're going to be watching for.
Who's overseeing that? That's the question.
All right. Thank you, Katrina. Thank you, Richard. Bye, guys.
Thanks,
see you next time. All right. Breaking tonight, Florida Governor Rick Scott has declared a preemptive state of